Dr. Alvis Smith. Chapter 1. Another Friday night shift. It's upon us again, the scary and busy Friday night all medical practitioners hate but fear to admit. Anyway, I'll say it. On behalf of all medical practitioners, Friday night we hate you. I'm getting off duty by 6 a.m., and luckily I've made it past midnight. I've been here since 9, and tired is an understatement for how I feel. It's bearable during the day, but always unbearable at night, especially on Friday nights. Picking up Jonathan Rover's chart from the rack under the clock in the nurse's station, I clasp my mouth against a yawn. I'm fighting a battle, me versus sleep, and it seems sleep is winning. It's just impossible to work efficiently at night, but this is me trying. The familiar stench of the 2 a.m. patients in search of comfort hit my nose as I enter the emergency room to Jonathan's cubicle. "Good morning," I greet the old man. "I'm Alvis Smith, one of the ER doctors. How can I help you?" I say, pulling the curtain behind me and moving to sit in the chair next to his stretcher. "Are you a married man?" The man throws a strange non-medical related question at me before sitting up. "No," I answer, drawing my brows together as I stare at him. "So, what is your complaint?" "I have a daughter. She is a lawyer, and she's unmarried, too. I'm sure she—" "Mr." I halt my speech to take a look at his chart again so that I can place his name. "Mr. Jonathan," I call, looking up from the chart. "Can we talk about why you're here, please?" I know some patients love small talk, but it's 2:30-something a.m. For God's sake, it's the wrong time for anyone to want to engage a doctor in a personal conversation. Sitting here and keeping him company is the last thing I want to do when other sicker patients need me. "Well, I have a persistent headache and VapoRub isn't working. You know, VapoRub works for anything, but okay, let me check." I cut him mid-sentence while pulling the chair back and standing up to examine him. "Dr. Smith, we need you out here." Ben, one of the resident doctors, hurriedly pulls the curtain to call me to another room. "I'll be back," I inform Jonathan before hurrying away. I walk after Ben as he leads me to attend to a woman with chest pain. Then the paramedics wheel in 4 patients from a road accident, and sicker people keep coming in every time I try to return to the man. At 6:30, Charmaine, one of the nurses, reminds me, "Alvis, you need to get back to the man in room 9. "Yeah, I'll take another look at him," I reply while glancing at my wristwatch. My shift was supposed to end minutes ago. "Hey, have you seen Davies?" I ask Charmaine about my relief, so that he can take over from here. "No, I've not seen him," she replies while hurrying away. I let out a sharp sigh as I return to the man's cubicle. "Okay, Jonathan, I'll continue the exam. So how long have you had this headache?" "Hey, Alvis," Davies' voice breaks in, and I shout a mental "thank God." "I'm sorry for coming late. Let me take it from here." He apologizes while walking to join me. "Yeah," I pat Davies' shoulder, then face Mr. Jonathan. "He will take good care of you," I tell him before heading out of the cubicle. I walk to the locker room, hang my stethoscope in the locker, strip off my scrubs, and toss them in a hamper. Stretching, I walk outside the hospital and into the cold morning air. "Finally," I exclaim as I hop inside my car. Placing my hand on the steering wheel, I sit for a moment, unable to start the car as everything that happened at home before I resumed the shift runs through my mind. I had an argument with my girlfriend, Eva, and it didn't end well. Things have been rough between us in the past few months, but today's argument was different. Eva got annoyed and asked us to break up while assuring me that I'll spend the rest of my life alone, since my job matters more than anything else. Working the busy night shift distracted me from thinking about it, but now that it has ended and I have to drive home, the sad reality is dawning on me. I'm back to the life of returning home to an empty house after a long night shift. Chapter 2. The Very Important Patient. Now this is the thing about being a doctor. You'll barely have time for anything else. I thought it would get easier after residency and fellowship, but did it? No, it did not. Well, maybe I can fix that if I stop being one of the top doctors at Far End Hospital. It's a few minutes past 9 Saturday morning. I should be at home resting, but I'm back here because I got a call from the chief of surgery, Dr. Jeff. "Smith, I'm sorry for calling you on your day off." Dr. Jeff greets me with an apology while placing a hand on my shoulder. "It's fine," I lie. I need a consult. He starts talking as we walk. On John Martinez. What's his diagnosis? He doesn't have one. He's here for a full, physical, complete diagnostic checkup, Jeff explains. What? I scoff and stop in my track. An intern can do that. I don't have to. He stops in his track too and turns to face me. Smith. I'm sorry, please continue. I gesture at him to finish his explanations. John Martinez is the CEO of one of the largest car companies in the world, he explains, and I promised him the best. Dr. Jeff pauses to cast me a meaningful stare before saying, I'm trusting in you, and he hurries away after that. I run my hand through my hair tiredly. Today is just not the day for this. I don't have the vigor to be kind to anyone. Whoa, looks like someone loves working, Davies teases as he walks to meet me. It's your day off, but you can't even stay at home. Oh yeah, I love to be here. Look how happy I am, I taunt back, facing him, my face a slate of no emotion. Can you see the happiness? I point at my face. Chill out, man, I was only kidding, he says, slapping my shoulder playfully as we start to walk. So why are you here? Dr. Jefferson called me for a patient who's not even sick, but just needs a full physical checkup. I ramble, my voice carrying a weight of annoyance. And I have to be the one to attend him because he is rich. Alvis, Davies calls me, stopping in his track. Is everything okay? Yeah, everything's fine, I reply, furrowing my brows. You don't sound like you, Davies comments. Are you sure everything's fine? Okay, no, Eva broke up with me, I spill. Whoa, I'm sorry about that, man. It's okay, I say with a nod. I should join John Martinez, I tell him before walking to meet John. 5 hours and many pointless tests later, I was about to give up, but I decided to do one last test, a CAT scan. And the result now shows that John has a brain tumor. I sit in the dictation booth, not looking forward to telling John the scan showed a mass in his brain. But the sooner I tell him, the better, so I take a sharp breath and stand up to join John in the VIP patient room. How are you doing? I ask as I walk inside. Great, I'm great. I move to take a seat beside his bed. John, is there anyone I can call for you? Why, did the scan show something bad? Yes, it showed a mass in your brain. Wow, that's bad. Maybe you'd like to call someone? A family? Friend? I should call my girlfriend, he answers while pulling out his phone from his back pocket. I watch him and notice his hands are shaking as he tries to scroll through the phone. Let me help you, I suggest, stretching my hand towards him. Oh, thank you, he says while handing the phone to me. What's the name, I ask while scrolling the contact log. My woman. Okay, found it. A wave of shock hits me when I click on the contact and carefully read the numbers one after the other. I can't believe it's a contact I know by heart because I've called it for 2 years. It belongs to the woman I still love, Eva. Wait, how is this even possible? Chapter 3. A Pain Without a Cure. I don't feel good. I don't feel good at all, and it would have been better if this pain was a headache or toothache that could be relieved with drugs, but it's not. It's a different kind of pain, radiating from a part of my heart that no drug can heal. It's a pain without a cure, and it is weighing me down. My initial plan for last Saturday was to call Eva, apologize, and show her we could still give us a chance. I wanted to remind her that my vacation was near and we would get to spend more time together. In fact, I had planned to propose to her during the vacation and had started checking out the best diamond ring shops online. I loved her so much and pictured my future with her, but she threw everything away, my love for her, my good intentions, our future, everything. It makes me feel less to think she cheated even before asking us to break up. So the whole time I thought I had a woman who loved me, she was busy sleeping with the CEO of JM Motors. I gave Eva my heart, but this is what I get? As if that is not enough, I still have to take care of the man my girlfriend cheated on me with. And I can't even complain because I'm the doctor here, the one that has to be strong, even if he's hurting inside. I've always loved being a doctor, but now I'm starting to rethink my life choices. I need a break from this job, and I shouldn't be the one to take care of John Martinez. No one deserves to go through this kind of torture. And do you know the worst part? I can't even act like I'm hurt. I still have to smile and assure him everything would be fine, when what I really want to do is punch his motherfucking face. Walking inside the doctor's lounge, Davies flags me down with a wave to join him and 4 other doctors, where they sat around a table. I let out a sharp sigh before walking to join them. "Heard your girlfriend is sleeping with one of your patients," Dr. Kennedy speaks. A frown breaks on my face, and I turn to cast Davies a "why the fuck did you tell them" look. I confided in him because I trusted him, but I should have known better. Was she the woman you wanted to marry? Because 36, you're not getting any younger. And there goes Dr. Kent, the one that thinks he knows everything about relationships because he has had 5 failed marriages. Yeah, she was, and it's fine. We broke up, so I say with a shrug. It's just surprising, annoying Davies plugs in. I mean, one would think with everything you have going on in your looks, no woman should ever want to cheat on you, but I guess it isn't by looks, comments, shaking his head with his eyes fixed on me. Well, you don't even have to think about her. You're a hotshot. I'm sure you'll find another woman, Dr. Acuna suggests while tapping my shoulders. Look around. You're surrounded by women who want you. All you have to do is pick. I do as he said, and he's right. I know some female colleagues that like me. Some have even approached me to tell me. But it doesn't work like that. The heart knows what it wants. And even though these women are great, none of them intrigue me. Turning my head towards the entrance, I see an unfamiliar female figure sauntering inside the lounge. She's on the phone as she walks, and I'm certain I've never seen her. "Who is that?" I ask, directing my question to no one in particular. "Oh, you haven't met her?" Davies implores. "She's the new doctor, Amelia Jones. Heard she's a medical wizard. So tighten your belt, Alvis, or she might take that best doctor in Far End crown from you." I return my eyes to Amelia, and our eyes meet, but she gives me a cold stare before averting her eyes from mine. She does look like a competition," I tell Davies.